Did you know only 27% of people under 30 own a home? Here's how you can beat the odds with these 6 moves. So, move number 1, understand your credit score and how to actually build it. Now, when I mentor people, I talk about their personal credit, but I also talk about their business credit, and we'll get to that in just a second. As a young person, your personal credit score is muy importante, okay? It's very important. And so you have to be cautious of that and conscious of that. I hear so many times people tell me like, oh yeah, I co-signed for this person's apartment or their car or whatever. I'm like, they broke it in you. Don't do that, right? That's your credit score. So in order to build your credit score, the easiest way, the shortcut to build your credit score is to actually get a credit card. Now, most people won't tell you that, right? Now, don't do like I did and go take your credit card to Dillis and buy a bunch of polo stuff. No, that's not what you do with the credit card. You simply, every time you fill your car up, use the credit card. Every time you pay your Netflix bill, use the credit card. Now, at the end of the month, when they send you the statement, before the interest gets added on to your principal, you pay the credit card off 100%. Okay, so don't carry a balance. That is going to help with what they call your revolving credit. There's a ton of people out there giving credit advice, so you can definitely tap in and listen to them. But these are the things that I've done to actually build my credit. So, of course, I'm going to give you that game. Second, like I was saying, when it comes to businesses, so I tell all of my students at TCU, when you graduate, regardless of what you go to do, you go to work for somebody, you start your own company, whatever you decide you want to do, make sure you LLC something. Now, most people are like, why would I LLC a company if I don't know what I actually want to do with it? Well, this is the advice that I give to them. LLC the company and just have a line of credit revolving through there. So even if it's $40, $50, $60 a month, just have it revolving through there. Why? Because now you're building a relationship with the bank. So at the point that you're actually ready to get out of corporate and work for yourself, you don't now have to go through the steps of actually getting the company up and going. It's 10 years old. So when you go to talk to the bank lender and you say, hey, I need 10 grand because I know what I really want to do with this company now, they'll look back, oh, for 10 years, this person has a revolving credit coming through this account. We have a relationship with them. They've built up some money in their account. Hey, here's a signature loan for 10 grand. I've done it. So trust me, that's how you build both your personal and your business credit. Second, the power of down payment assistance programs. So a couple of episodes ago, we had Nikki Cloud on, and she was talking about those different programs for first-time homeowners and all those kind of things. So if you didn't watch that episode, go back and check it out. She dropped a ton of game, but I'm just doubling down on it. See, I was in the military when I bought my first piece of real estate, and because I had the VA loan, I didn't actually have to put a dollar down. I was able to get that loan and start making my payments. So it's almost like I walked into an apartment, right? So a little money down to get the paperwork and all of that stuff down, but I didn't have to do like the 20 or 30% that most people have to put down on a property. So that's the second piece of advice I would give you. Third, create some ways to boost your income. You can always make more money. Either that's spending less, okay, or finding a side hustle that you can do and make some more money. Now, you guys know me. I'm all about the dividend-paying portfolio. So that dividend-paying portfolio actually creates income for you, and now you have more income. Why does that help? Well, first of all, it's going to help you with that down payment if you're not in one of those programs I just mentioned before. Secondly, it's going to give you a little bit of a kickstart, right? When you first buy a home, there's a lot of expenses up front. You got to get curtains, or you could be like Jalen Rose and put, newspaper on your windows. I don't recommend that, right? But you got to buy curtains. You got to buy rugs. You got to buy, towels and all of the things that you don't normally think about. Why? Because you've been living with mom for 30 years, so you didn't think about towels, right? So those little expenses are going to come up, and they can pile up and become very expensive. So have a little extra income on the side ready to go when you move in that place, and you can feng shui it out like you like, right? Next one is house hacking and alternative ownership models. Again, another piece of advice that I give to young people: find someone who is into the same stuff that you are and get a house together. You can actually co-own a house together with someone else. That's legal. You can do it. You don't have to be married to the person. Again, this is where that LLC comes into place, though, because what you can do is you can actually have the house as part of the LLC, and now you guys are paying into that LLC. Remember that revolving amount coming through that account we talked about? Now you got a couple $1,000s a month going through that account. So that's definitely one way you can do it. Also, my first purchase by myself, because I actually did the whole friend buy the house together in DC, right? But my first purchase that I made by myself, I actually bought a small condo. So it was down the street from the Cowboys Stadium, and I bought it a year before the Cowboys got there. Yeah. So buying a smaller place isn't the worst thing in the world, right? You can rent it out. You can stay there yourself. You can rent out rooms. There's a number of different ways that you can create income from that place once you get it. But it's important that you do these things that I'm saying beforehand so you can get it. The real cost of ownership beyond the mortgage is getting more expensive as well. So if you buy a condo or house, townhouse, whatever, and they have what's called a HOA or a POA. HOA is Homeowners Association. POA is Property Owners Association. Depending on where you live in the country, they name them, but they're essentially the same. It's an additional cost that you pay because your property is in this gated community, in a certain neighborhood, whatever. So that's additional cost. You need to make sure that you calculate that into your mortgage yearly because it's going to come up. There's fees, there's repairs that you have to make. See, that's one of the reasons why I needed a condo. I actually lived in D.C. at the time, but I bought my first condo, like I said, in Arlington. So I was going back and forth, and I didn't have anybody that was really looking after my place. So not having to worry about someone cutting my grass or, trimming the bushes or anything like that because the HOA took care of that. That's, of course, like I said, an additional fee that you need to be aware of before you go into owning your own home. And then lastly, I'll say building a team. The right lender, the right mentor, the right realtor, all of those things are very important. I'm going to tell you a quick story. My wife and I were buying a house for my in-laws, and the lady that we were working with, the realtor that we were working with, we didn't know this at the time, but retrospectively, we found it out, right? She was actually working with both us and the individual that was selling the house. And so I can remember a conversation specifically when I asked her to get them to lower the price a little bit, right? I was like, yeah, some things I want to get fixed in the house, but I want them to eat that cost. I don't want to eat it on the back end. And so she was adamant about us not asking them to lower the price. She was like, oh, they're going to come back and they're going to be disappointed, or they may just go with someone else because there's a few other people looking at the house. And I was thinking to myself, are you working for me or are you working for them? Well, we found out later she was working for both of us, right? So she didn't want to lower the price. Why? Because that would, of course, lower her commission. So make sure you understand and know who you're working with. Just because your mom or your aunt or your cousin had a really good experience with someone doesn't mean that that's the same realtor that you should go with. I tell people, I always say things in threes, right? Make sure you interview 3 different realtors. Make sure that person is in line with what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Make sure that your investment goals are told to that person so that they can work in your favor, not the person that's selling the house. So again, I want to see you guys own real estate because that's one of the few investments that over the 47 years that I've been on this earth, I've seen go up and up and up and up and up. I've lived all over the world. I've seen a lot. I've experienced a lot. And I'm telling you, real estate and stocks, 2 ways that I've always seen people make money and make wealth in this country. All right, so I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button. If I said something that made sense to you, hit me up in the DMs, subscribe to the page, and send this to somebody that you know needs this information. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Think and Grow Rich.